She didn't often come to school, and when she did, she couldn't concentrate. Her school in Patna, Bihar, India had decided to tell her that she didn't need to come anymore. But she did come for one more day, and on that day, B schools came to her school. We met Girl Zero because we chose her children's newspaper to present to the government ministry. She interviewed an entrepreneur in her community, identified all of her skills, created a really well-designed headline, and drawn her portrait, just like a real newspaper. Girl Zero's name is Smita, and she's 14 years old. I don't understand it, her teacher said. She never does well. B Schools is a movement of stories to inspire the poorest children in India to stay in school to learn skills. 50 design-driven stories each teach a skill, from making a cash flow statement to making a plan to drawing up your budget for the year. These are skills that young people can use for a lifetime, and they're skills that help children achieve better grades in the here and now in maths and language. What's interesting is that it's never been done before, and we've been cautioned by everyone that we're venturing to talk to about it that we must not fail. When it comes to teaching skills to children, the government system in India, we're stepping into a wide open field. First, there are no stories for children. Second, there's no content in Hindi or regional languages to teach children skills. And then perhaps most daunting, there are no success stories or role models to show that this will work. And to prove that this will not fail, we do need to show that it's going to work. So through an MOU with the government of Bihar, and Bihar is India's poorest state with its most challenging statistics, we're working in 1,000 government schools, reaching 300,000 children every week with the most beautiful stories we could have ever created. And because we don't have the end story yet, we developed a way to be able to measure the progress of our children every single week. Each week they read a book in school, and then they create a skills project in their community. It's a children's newspaper about entrepreneurs, or they make a cash flow statement, or like I said, they map their social network. Essentially, it's a piece of art, and children get very excited because there's no right or wrong. We collect their pieces of art, scan them, and grade them into a central system, and we measure the big numbers. How many activities did we get each week? Did we get 300,000? And the small ones. Did she really draw her pets as part of her family tree? I would probably draw my dog too, but extra point for that. 50% of children in India drop out of school, and in Bihar it's even more extreme. 83% of girls drop out before grade 10. Children drop out for many reasons, but perhaps the most pressing is that education is not relevant to employment. The children that drop out of school today will form a wave of 100 million young people who will be out of work in 2020 across India. They will earn less than £2 a day, and they will live in poverty. Unless we intervene, we can reach them now, which is in school and with a story. We don't know what 100 million zeros mean for the time that we're in, for India's economy, and we don't really want to find out what it means for the interconnected world we live in. We want to act now. So we're working to reach 300,000 children and to prove that stories can change the world for everyone. To create this story, we traveled across India. We talked to over 1,000 children. We asked them, who is an entrepreneur? What problems do they solve and what skills do they have? Based on what children told us, we created the most beautiful stories we could ever imagine. We don't believe that poor children deserve poor stories. So our stories are original graphic art. They're the most beautiful design we could have ever come up with for children who need them the most. We also believe, strangely, that entire systems can change quickly and at scale if everyone in the system is inspired to be better than they have been before. So we're training 2,000 teachers to use the skills stories with children. We were warned that government school teachers in India are the hardest audience on the planet. But 70% of them have moved to say to us, thank you. I never knew I could teach skills. Now I know I can because you've given me the tools. Matching the response of the government teachers, the government has released funds to extend teacher training across the state. This is how it works. Mandated by the government of Bihar, every weekend, every Saturday for 2 hours, children read one skills book with their teacher. They then play a game in the classroom to understand the skill better. So with supply and demand, we have a series of mango cards. With money cards, you pretend you're a farmer and you have to trade with the guy in the market. Children love playing the games. They have fun. They understand through playing. And then over the weekend, they have to make the skill come alive in their world. So they might go house to house to create a market survey and ask people, how much will you actually pay for solar? At the moment in India, children do not go to school to become entrepreneurs. It's something that happens to you as a backup option when nothing else works out. It's what you do for survival. We want to change survival into a choice with a plan, so that young people that we're delivering skills to right now are experienced in being an entrepreneur, but we still know that they need role models, they need a goal, they need to know where this is going. 95% of the children on our program have actually said that they would like to start businesses that solve problems. And that's where B Schools meets B Fund, our other program that was supported with a grant from the Funding Network last year, and I thank you for your visionary support. B Fund is doing really well, and B Schools is now going to create that pipeline of young people who come up to access that actually after they've completed their education. B Schools is a harder sell. It's a long-term investment in teaching children skills at scale. And I'm going to ask you to take a risk on that as well, because while we are exactly where we should be in 1,000 schools teaching children skills, I know that we're going to have to fight to stay there. Every week as we go into new schools, there are not 300 children, as we were told in grade 9, but there are over 1,200. 1,200 children who say to us, will you tell me no, will you leave me out? And the teacher hasn't said no. And so every time we go in, we say, okay, we have to give more books because there are more children who want to be part of it. We've created demand in the educational sector. We now have an issue of supply and demand. £30 you can send a set of 50 books to a school in India, £310 funds a school for a year, and £5,000 funds a district reaching 10,000 children. If poverty in India is defined as earning less than £2 a day, all the children in our program have told us they want to start businesses that solve the problem of poverty. For less than £2 for each child in our program, we will ensure that 300,000 children never fall into the definition of poverty again. And the answer is not zeros, but heroes for the time we're in. And it just might be wrapped up in the most beautiful story and audacious one we can dare to tell about entrepreneurs to children in India.